Hello and welcome to our Build Your Future E Lab number 6. I am gonna put something on the screen. We are very happy to welcome you today. And my name is Jochen Schell. I will give you a little bit of information about myself, about our organization, and also some technical information about this webinar before I introduce you to our today's speaker, Bruno Blumenschein. So as I said, my name is Jochen Schell. I'm the director of YEP Europe. YEP Europe, we are at the center of a network, the YEP Community Network, which is a network of more than 100 communities and organizations across Europe. We have members in 16 countries in Europe, and these organizations, these communities in the network work with the YEP approach and methodology of youth empowerment and community empowerment. This webinar is called Build Your Future E Lab, and it's the 6th edition in this series. And Build Your Future basically was a project we have run between 2015 and 2016, where we developed an entrepreneurship course for young people. It was piloted in 7 countries across Europe, and one very interesting part of this program was the entrepreneurship labs, which were organized in these local communities. And basically it was they were events where local entrepreneurs would meet the young people following the course, and they would share their experiences, they would share their story, and some of them even became mentors. And it was a very successful part of that program, and we thought we could continue with that, and therefore these webinars are some kind of a spin-off of these entrepreneurship labs. And I'm very happy that today we have again a very inspiring speaker, and this is basically the objective here, for you to get inspired and to learn something. Before I introduce Bruno to you, as I said, some technical information. We're going to be together for 1 hour. Bruno will speak for about 40-45 minutes. And you can also, the participants can interact with us through the chat. You should have at the bottom or the top of your page should have a bottom where you can access the chat, and you can write your comments, your questions. Bruno will probably also engage with you and ask you some questions. We will have at the end some Q&A session, so 10-15 minutes, where you also can ask further questions, and we also will do some polls in between, so you will see some little pop-ups once in a while where we'll ask you questions on how you are enjoying this webinar. So this is it about me, us, and the technical details. Bruno, to introduce you to Bruno Blumenschein. He's based in Zagreb in Croatia, and is the co-founder and CEO of the company Overtime. You might have looked it up already. We put the link in our invitations. He has launched in the last 4 years 7 startups, so he's a very experienced entrepreneur. Most of them, or a lot of them, are of these startups are in the fields of sport. He's a sports journalist as well, and he also works with sports clubs, federations, sponsors, and media companies on promotion, and is involved with promotion activities launched by fans. And some of you might have been attracted by the title of this webinar, How to Promote Your Startup or your project with less than 10 euros. And as you, I'm also very excited to hear from Bruno. And Bruno, I would give you the floor now. If you could put switch on your camera and your microphone, and Hi, Bruno. So the floor is yours. Thank you for being with us today, and I let you speak now.
Great. Thank you, Jochen, for this great introduction. Hello, everyone. As always, as I'm speaking, I like to say that I see this as a hangout of new friends. So please don't take just a back seat, and listen. I invite you to be an active part of this. You're building your future, and I think it's going to be a fun 45 or 60 minutes ahead of us. So as Jochen said, I'm a CEO of the company Overtime Sports Marketing. We are basically a bunch of sports freaks that managed to live out of it. And my life path took me from marketing, that is my background. I was on a faculty of economics in Zagreb. Then I worked in media and public relations, and again marketing, and I was always involved in these new projects, ideas and stuff. And I truly believe that entrepreneurial mindset is something that is really important, not only for the business part of our lives, but also for the whole positive view on the life and just being an active member of society. And I'm really glad to meet you guys and ladies, and I hope that you will enjoy it. I don't like to be perceived as a speaker, or I don't know, something like a lecturer. Maybe I have some more experience because I've decided from the age of 18 that I want to do my stuff and to be part of new innovative projects, or many failures and some of successes that I had or we had. And that's something that I'm gonna try to show to you and to speak about. So please, guys, and just take active part in this webinar. Write down any comments, any questions. If you don't understand me, or I speak too quickly, or whatever, for whatever reason, just use the chat. It's free. As Jochen said, I'm based in Croatia, traveling all around the Europe. But now I'm in Split on beautiful Croatian coast. I wanted to say that it's like 30 degrees and I'm on the beach, but it's not. It's like 25. It's still beautiful, but it's rainy. So let's hope that our energy and everything about this webinar will just turn things around for the weather also. I'm gonna now share the screen and show you what I have prepared for you. And as I've talked with Jochen about the webinar, I said, okay, let's try to be interesting and fun from the start, and let's just try to put the title something that could be interesting and just invitable. So in the next, I would say 30 or 40 minutes, I'm gonna speak about how to promote your idea, project, social project, whatever you have, with less than 10 euros. I would say with less than 5, but the costs are always projected in a positive way, but they always somehow build up. What's our first problem? Well, the problem is that our expectations and our views and wishes are not in line with our budgets. But this is not only about the client, it's for just everyone. When I want to have a nice dinner, I want to pay it 10 or 15 euros, but it always turns out to be 40 or 50 euros. So that's something that it's an ordinary problem, and it just about how can we be more smart and more clever about it, and to see what are the opportunities to get what we want on a line that is just our realistic line. When we ask, for example, in our team, the question about what do we need to have a good promotion, then the most of the people will say we need a budget, right? Show me some dollars, euros, whatever currency it is. Well, when we think about the new project or the new idea or the new startup, it's always about can we get enough money? What's our budget? Can we get investors, or are we going to do it by ourselves? So that's just everyday life, right? But if we look at what actually money is, then we could say that money is value, right? So if we look at the money as one of the values, we can say, okay, but if we don't have that kind of value, what can we offer? Not only as a money, but as something that we can give or we can produce. And in the last couple of years, content and storytelling and, you know, just producing good and quality content is something that has become, I would say, pretty much hyped. Content marketing and, you know, just native advertising and whatever you just want to put all in that bucket. That is something that, you know, that's something of a new value. Also, there is a good advice. So companies or your clients or your future clients that doesn't even know that you exist yet, they could be interested in your advice or something that you could give into. Also, in today's world, one of the biggest things that that has value is networking. I really appreciate building a good network. That's why I said that I look into webinars and all these meetings as an investment in getting bigger and more quality network, and just trying to see what is out there that we can, you know, take and that we can add value on. That's one of things that I believe mostly in it, that the first question that everyone in our society has to ask is, what can I give into my network? How can I help others? Not from the perspective of what can I get out of it, but just, you know, what can I get into the network so that the quality of network is better, and that we are more successful and better people. When we speak about value, then I believe in a smart value. So basically, when we would look into some examples, we can get quality information about organic reach of Facebook fan pages. That when you invest in your fan page, you have to have a community manager, you have to produce content, you have to, you know, just communicate with your fans or trying to get some fans. And in last 5 or 6 years, the organic reach of Facebook fan pages dropped month to month. So it was awful when we realized that the organic reach is like less than 20%. That was 3 years ago. And we were horrified. We were like, okay, what is going on? If I had 100 fans, how come that only 16 or 70 of them see my content and can get into the communication that gets into their news feed of the Facebook? But now the situation is even, I would say, worse, but, you know, it's just different. Now the usual organic reach, so without the payment to the Facebook through the ads, through the boosted content or whatever, the organic reach is between 2 and 6.5%. That literally means that out of 100 fans that you have on Facebook, only 2 up to, let's say, 7 of them will get your content on their newsfeed, and the number will go down. So if you look at the smart value in that situation, then we can ask ourselves, okay, what's the better option of us promoting our project, idea, or business? Well, if we look at the Facebook Live feature, then we can see that Facebook is really pushing it in ways of notifying you that your friends or fan pages that you liked went live, so that the content is better advertised by the Facebook itself, and that you not putting your money into the promotion can get better results. The second option, for example, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn as a greatest business social network. I hope that you are all on LinkedIn. If you are, just connect with me, and we can have a good connection and share good content. But LinkedIn is also pushing their organic content. So basically, if you write LinkedIn article, it will pop up to the people. LinkedIn and their algorithms will make it sure that enough people read it. And the second part of the smart value in this option is that it's sniper shot. We call this a sniper shot technique, because you don't go on all like mainstream, and your target group is not everyone, but it's a good network of LinkedIn people that you have and that you are connected to. So in this moment, for example, if we look at the social media from the project-based perspective, I would say that these two features are much better investment of your effort and team effort and money in terms of creating the content than just ordinary fan page. And it's good to just follow up this kind of things, because numbers change almost on a daily basis, and it's something that is really interesting to see where it's going. For example, I don't know if you know, but Facebook tried, they set up a pilot project in 8 countries, I think, all over the world, of not putting the content from fan pages at all in the newsfeed of the customers or Facebook users. And one of the countries that was involved in the pilot project was Serbia. Serbia is a Croatian neighbor country, so we got a lot of information from there, and you could see just on a graph, on the statistics, that it was really awful for them from the perspective of building a Facebook fan page, growing their fan base, and then just no one seeing that because Facebook decided. And that's one of the also important things to know, that if you invest money on some platform or effort or energy or creating your community or your content, then it's up to them that can decide what happens with that content and your reach and everything about it. And it's quite challenging. So if we look at the other perspective of smart value of what can you get, this is a empty newsroom. From the perspective of media companies and newsrooms, they have a business model that is quite old. No one pays tribute to the banners. Banner blindness is a normal effect that people has. For example, I really don't see any banners on the websites. So, for example, do you remember some banner campaign that you saw on news portals or websites that you visit that really stick to you and that you have said, oh, this is great, I have to remember it, or I have to do something, click on it, buy that product or whatever? Just type it in the chat and just let me know. So if we look at this part of ecosystem of your project or idea or business, then media is a big part of it, right? Because you want to get more PR, you want to communicate to greater audience, you want to be in contact with journalists and that kind of stuff. So it's important from the smart value position to know that that newsroom is getting smaller. Less journalists is working in it. They have more job or work to do. They have now social media and creating content for their whatever it is, TV station, print company, or something. And it's really good to know that that there are not so many journalists in the newsrooms anymore. And what that gives to you, it gives you opportunity to create content for the media. For example, if you have NGO working in an industry that is not so covered by the media, but you have interesting topics or quality teams or some people that are really inspiring or could be an interesting media topic, then you could be a content creator for the media and then contacting them and not saying, hey, we have this good NGO with our projects and stuff, but it's something that could be interesting for you. So don't look from your perspective, look from their perspective. What that will bring you is additional value for them, and then you will create a much better connection with the media or with the other ecosystem members. So that's something that a lot of teams just forget, that the media is in a really difficult situation from the business perspective. Their newsroom is getting smaller, revenues are shrinking. There are not so many innovative stuff. Now I'm talking about the global level. Of course, there is something that is good in North America or in Europe, but overall the media industry is in really challenging situation. And that is a good perspective for you and your team, just to see how you can help them to, for example, become a columnist about the topic that you are interested in or working in. Why is that important? That is important because you then have the opportunity to show your passion, because no other person alive can better communicate about your subject, about your industry, about your community than yourself. Then you are in a process of creating credibility for yourselves. Then you are the lady or man from the media that your future clients will remember and say, oh yeah, I've read your article, or yeah, you were talking about the subject on a TV station a week before. And that's something that really sticks to people. And it's really important, especially in the start of some project or startup, that you get that kind of credibility. In terms of credibility, why is it important? Because then when you start from the trust and you get that recognizable status among your future customers or community or media, then you become experienced person in that field. That is really important, because then you don't need any more knocking on the door and explaining who you are, because you did or you're doing that for quite some time now, right? Because you have invested, let's say, 6 months, 12 months, whatever, in showing who you really are, and not talking about, oh, I'm great, or my business is great, or our project is really great, but in really in terms of creating value for others. You have created a value for media companies, you have created a value for the public, you have created value for your future clients. And that's something that really helped over time my company to just take a stand in the sports industry in Europe, because we tried and managed to build a position of a team that creates a quality content in sports marketing and sports business overall, doing a number of webinars, of online presentations, of just case studies, that kind of stuff. So that all, when you put it in one big picture, it creates image and creates a credibility for your project. From the perspective of one of the best investors in the world, Warren Buffett, he said it, that price is what you pay and value is what you get. So let's stick again to the banners that I have mentioned. If the price for some banner campaign is $100, then that's the price. But no one can guarantee you that that's the same or better value that you will get. So it's always important just to find that smart value that you are always looking for. But when you have that mindset of constantly testing and trying to see what works for you, then you will get the best value. Because if you invest your time and energy and your team effort, then it's really important to know that that's also the value that you have invested. You don't need only money, as we have said at the beginning, but you get something that is really much more valuable, and then you get that smart value. One of examples of that is P&G, the Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest companies in the world, that promoted their project and their products for toilets and bathrooms through building the app Sit or Squat. It was basically the app where you can rate the toilets in bars, restaurants, any public toilet, and that was really a great approach in terms of creating a community of people who are generally interested. Because when I go to London or Los Angeles or wherever, I want to know if that toilet or that place is a good one for me, or that I don't like it and I won't get into it. What that brings to the P&G is a community at the first line, and then a credibility in the second line. Because when you go after the app and you go to the supermarket and you have 10 brands to choose from, your mind is working in a way, oh, I'm familiar with the Charmin. Oh, that's a product that I trust because they have helped me with when I was in need. And then the possibility of getting, of purchasing that product is a much higher than, you know, just fancy ads and we have the best toilet paper or whatever. Second project that I like is from the Rip Curl company. They say for themselves they are the most surfing company there is. They have created an online platform, The Surge, that is used by the surfers all over the world to find the best surfing beaches and waves, and, you know, just to publish their photos and videos. And they've built one of the biggest surfing communities there are. And it's amazing because when you look, that is a company that is trying to sell the products, obviously, but in the same time, in the same moment, they have created additional value for their customers and their future clients, maybe. Our example in that segment is first ebook about Snapchat in sport. When Snapchat just started, we looked into it, and we thought that it could be a great opportunity for the sports clubs and organizations to be active on Snapchat and to just get a better communication and better promotion on it. So we wrote a first ebook in English about Snapchat in sport. And what that did for us is that, for example, Arsenal, the football club from London, they've sent a message and said, we really liked your book. What do you think about our Snapchat? Can we get any better about it? And we were really like, my God, sports freaks from Southeast Europe wrote a book, and now the Arsenal wants to know what do we think about their Snapchat. So it was a really good moment for us to get the confirmation that creating good value and creating a good piece of content that helps brands and organizations that we saw as global ones and much ahead of us. That's really a good moment in life. This is interesting project by a food company, a food platform, Eat24. So basically, that's a website and mobile app where you can order food delivery. And they said, okay, but we have to do something completely different because our competition is bigger, they have better budgets, and they have bigger market share. So what can we do? So they've looked all over the internet space, and they've looked for the industry where there is a lot of views in terms of website views, and where is the banner space and banner positions where it's quite cheap. And they've seen that it's XXX rated websites. So I'm not saying go to that kind of sites or anything, but look at it from the smart value position, because they definitely did their homework and they investigated and they have chosen a smart way of getting to their customers. But the second part is even more interesting. Then after doing the promotional campaigns, E24 team realized that they have great data. So they know when the people from Houston are clicking more on their banners, and people from New York City and Baltimore, or the whole United States. And then they have created this kind of infographics and piece of content that was really interesting to the media and to the whole their target group, the public, and it went viral. The number of their users went up. It was really interesting to see that their approach of completely out of box thinking, of finding the space for their product worked, and that it was amazing to create additional content from the promotional campaign that did great things for them. And in that moment, it's really important to understand that one of the biggest questions in starting a project is defining who are you talking to. Is this small girl on the left, or is this senior lady on the right? And one of the things that could be really interesting is building a buyer persona profile. So basically that's personalizing your customer or your buyer or your partner if you are an NGO or a social project. Because then you do their background, you see what they like, where they spend their time, where they spend their money, where they live, what media channels do they use, what's their value proposition that they like to get, what are their life goals. And after building this profile, you will get a much better picture of creating your project and communication for your project. And your promotional messages will be much clearer for yourself and also for the buyer that you are communicating to, because now you know who are you talking to. And I know sometimes young people like to say to me, yeah, but it's quite normal, I know who my buyer is. But when you do, for example, interviews or focus groups or online surveys, then you will get information and results that could be really surprising for you. Wait, I thought that my buyer is really into IT magazines, but he's not. He's more into fitness stuff. Oh, so we know better channels that we can get to him. So build the profile and get to know your buyer or customer. We did that for the basketball club Cedevita, the Croatian champions in basketball, and we found out that we are followed and that young people are talking about Cedevita. So we are talking like 12 to 30. Then we looked into new stuff that is emerging in that group, and this was 2 years ago. And we found out about emojis. It wasn't, all that mainstream and hyped as now that it's talked about it in the Apple conferences. So we got a great young designer who did personalized, custom-made emojis for each of our players. And then we did the shirts, as you can see. Players really loved it. We did a candid camera so that they have found about it in their locker room, and we filmed about it. They have been using it for their profile photos on the Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and it was really great to see. Different reactions from the fans and from the players. I see in the chat what if you have several quite diversified targets, then you build a number of profiles. I'm working now with a large global company called Schneider Electric. They are in electronics and building industry and all over the place. And they have 7 buyer personas. They're completely different. It's from the construction worker to the architect to the mom in the family. So don't stop on only one profile, but build as many as you have. And it's really important in building persona to go as much in depth that you can, so that you get as much information about them, so that you get better results. If we move along, then what do you see here? Who sees a duck? Can you write down a duck in the chat? Ducks, ducks, ducks. Okay. So who sees a rabbit? Okay, we have 1 rabbit. 2 rabbits. Okay, great. So much better. Yeah, no, sure. We can talk about emojis better. So we are working on a marketing strategy for the biggest Croatian basketball club, Cedevita, and it was just a second to get. And we need to think about new ways of communicating and to see what is really interesting for our buyer personas, as I have mentioned. And then we found out about emojis. That is really cool. So this is late 2015 on 2016. So don't think about emojis from 2018 perspective. Emojis then were a new thing. It was something that wasn't used as much, especially in the custom personalized ways. So we just created, designed custom emojis to communicate about our players. We use these emojis on shirts, as you can see. We used it for their profile pictures. We send them to them, and it was up to them if they want to use it. So we used it through the live tweeting events. So when the game is on and someone scores a great 3-pointer or dunks, then we use their emoji and just communicate through them. And the feedback was really great. So I use this example as an example of figuring out who your customer is, who are you talking to, and then finding out what they like to communicate about or the ways of communicating, and then building a story about that. So we didn't go through oh, let's get a brainstorm meeting inside of our team, and then let's think about new things that we can do for this basketball club. But we went through more structured and more clear way, and that's through building a customer persona, finding out what they want, and then getting to the brainstorm, and then getting a good idea. So it may seem like a similar path, but in overall result, it's really more different, and you will get much better results. So I hope that's more clear about the emoji now. So about the duck and the rabbit, it's the usual visual thing that someone sees a rabbit and someone sees a duck. But my point here is that it's not about what you see. it's about what they see. So go into their shoes, put yourself in their position, and then just think about it. What that did for us is that it was a Tuesday morning. I remember clearly, and a co-founder, partner of mine, called me and said, "This guy that we never met, David Fowler, he's a head of brand and marketing in FIFA, and he put us on a top nine list top 9 list in the world for sports marketing resources." And we were like, whoa, we we really did something. So we were producing every week a big case study or topic, and you can find them all on promoovertime.com. And it wasn't all about us. We didn't do any promotion in that part. So we created a lot of content, investing a lot of our time and energy in creating good and quality infographics and text and everything. And then we summed up the all, and we did workshops about sports marketing. We did with a Sports Business Institute in Barcelona and that kind of stuff. So it was really great to see that people from, let's say, FIFA sees that and understand it. Why is that important? Because if you look at the currencies, and if we talk about the main currency, then it's not about euros and pounds and dollars. It's about attention. So what we are looking for in promotion and marketing is to grab that piece of attention from the people we want to listen, that we want them to listen to us, and then to get it. That's why, and this is, I'm like pretty religious about this, the main number in the world is 86,400. It's the number of seconds in the day. That's the only thing or main things in marketing that you can't scale. So it can't grow larger. You have that time of life. You have 24 hours in a day. That's why the intention that I have mentioned before is really, really, really important. That's the main currency that we are looking for. If we look at the current, let's say, situation, then one of my main messages is that you need to be relevant. Just look what can be used for your product or your project or your idea. And for example, now the World Cup is going, and one of the biggest topics is Neymar and his haircut. I don't know if you know, but he's spending between 2,000 and 3,000 euros per month on haircuts. I don't know how he can get such a haircut for so many euros, but hey, it's his choice. So when you look from your perspective, you could decide to use humor about it. You could, if I was a hairdresser in Germany, I could do how-to content, or you can pick up best players in the World Cup and do a piece about their haircuts, or find out whatever you can from your industry. Sorry. So it's really important just to find out your spot and to find what's interesting for your startup or project or idea, and to find your piece of, just sun in Croatia. Now it's still rainy. So, but if we sum up, this, I would say that there are three main challenges. So it definitely here looks great when we say, yeah, we can create content and find our smart value that we can contribute to the network and everything. But there will be challenges, and hard times are definitely coming. We had it after 9 months in overtime, because we were creating this whole number of pieces, articles, infographics, and everything. And the numbers were like rising. Oh, we had 1 subscriber more today or whatever. But, you know, we were always planning, oh, we're going to have like 10,000 subscribers on our newsletter, and it will be great. But it took us a year and a half of hard work, hard times, just creating and believing in what we are doing. And that's the second main challenge, because we had a situation when we said, okay, but you know, what's our problem? Because we produced 10 great articles, but no one is engaging, and we are not receiving any invitation for the pitches or for the business meetings. You just have to be convinced that it's your path, that your strategy will work, and that your plan is a good one. And that's something that is really important in inside communication of the team, that choose your path and go along with it, and put a great team effort in it. And the third is that our first plan has to work. You know, it's our plan and everything is great and we worked so hard about it, it has to work. No, it's 2018. I mean, the Facebook is changing features on monthly level. So don't be afraid of changing things, of pivoting, of, you know, just doing different stuff. That's why you should always be, Bruce Lee said it, be like water, you know. You can always change formats and find new things, but I would suggest that you should have always on your mind smart value and how you can get better things for your network and for your project in the end. And I was thinking about that 10 euros that I have mentioned in the title. I would definitely suggest getting a monthly subscription on Deezer, Spotify, whatever music platform that you are using, because good music is vital and for the good atmosphere, and good atmosphere is vital for team success or your own success. Because whatever hard times there will be, and there will be hard times, don't budge, don't cancel your dreams and plans, because I think it's really up to you to do great things and to build future. This was one story from my side. These are contacts. I'm at Bruno Blumen, and then on Twitter and Gmail or whatever you can connect on LinkedIn. And I hope that we will stay in touch. Shoot me with any ideas or whatever, and also here, but also on, and as I have said, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or by email. There's a question: what if you don't have the IT or technical skills, or the creative or writing skills to create good content or smart value? How can you find it? Any tips? Well, the tip is definitely build your network. It's about being in contact with great people. That's why I love what YEP Europe and Johan's team is doing, just building a great community of people that can come up together and that can help each other, and then build teams that will build great ideas. So if you don't have any particular skills, but you are looking for there is, for example, a LinkedIn feature where you can put an ad. It's completely free. So put like your message or your idea and say, I'm interested in learning more about IT or looking for a partner. And then people on the other side who wants to help others. I'm doing that, for example, in Europe on LinkedIn. Then we connect and then we have a talk or do a Skype or meet or whatever, and then just go from there and talk about what are your needs, what are your specialties is, and then do that things. I don't know. That's everything from my side that I have to talk about. I mean, I can talk about this for hours, but it's a Friday afternoon, and if you have any questions, or Johan, please be free to join.
Thank you so much, Bruno. Yes, we can take definitely another question. We have 2 or 3 minutes left, but while we wait for that question, I wanted to thank you, Bruno. It was very, very inspiring, definitely interesting, and I learned a lot, I must say. And obviously, we are also interested in optimizing our communication, and we all are, as you said in the beginning, are living this frustration of having a Facebook page and putting all kind of stuff there, but to actually know that so few people actually see what you post is a big frustration. And for example, the Facebook Live tip is a very good tip also for this webinar, because I have the opportunity to go live on Facebook with this, and we haven't done it yet. So we're going to take that one home for sure. And yeah, it was extremely informative and interesting for me, and I'm sure for our guests as well. I still don't see any further questions in the chat, so I guess there are no further questions. And again, Bruno, thank you so much for all this.
Thank you.
And you might have maybe won some customers today. I must admit, I probably will come back to you more questions. And so, yes, thank you for putting so much effort and time into this. And this has been recorded, and we will definitely publish also the recording of this. And that's it for now and for today. So thank you very much, Bruno, and thanks for all the participants as well.
Yeah, thank you, Jochen, for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and I hope that the participants will get something out of it, and we'll be in touch, definitely.
So, great, thank you, and good luck to Croatia in the World Cup as well.
Yeah, definitely. We started.
Yes, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.